Hello and welcome to Motorsport Life. You join us at a glorious Oulton Park in the sunshine for once. And as you can see, we are at the bottom end of UK motorsport, the grassroots you might say. We are here to test the absolute beast, the Citroen C1. My teammate Andy is getting changed on a trailer in the middle of the car park. I'll be doing the same shortly. But we are testing out the car, getting the seat position right for me ahead of the Citroen C1 race we're doing 6 hours of Snetterton in early July, which we'll also be filming for the YouTube channel. But yeah, I mean, what a great day. One of the best tracks in the UK, Oulton Park, in a race car. Yes, it's a race car, which we'll show you around a bit later on. But yeah, today's going to be a good day, but we'll catch you out on track.
Okay, so here we go. And first thing to say is apologies for the terrible GoPro footage that you're about to see. I made two mistakes. One, I put it in a waterproof case, which meant the sound is very, very low, and also I didn't have the settings correct for the lighting, so you can see inside the car perfectly, but you cannot see out of the car very well. But basically, here we are getting strapped in into the car and heading out of the paddock into the pit lane and turning right out onto track. So for those of you that have never done it, I always find this moment kind of quite nerve-wracking. You know, you're going out onto track. I haven't driven this car for a year and a half. Yes, it's only a C1, but you still want to do well. You don't want to cause any incidents. And in this instance, I wanted to be on the pace of my teammates who I'm going to be racing with at Snetterton. But honestly, Oulton Park's such a good track. I know I keep saying it throughout this video, but it really is great, and it was so good to get back out in the car in a bit of a less stressful situation. You know, otherwise I'd be going straight into the practice at the Snetterton race and really need to get up to pace quickly there because I don't know the track. But now, after these sessions, I know the car. So, you know, you might think, oh, you're only driving a C1. But honestly, it's still really fun, and you know, there's still a lot to be done with driving technique. You know, in terms of how you brake, whether you do trail braking or you know how long you brake, if you lift, left foot brake, how much lock you put on, how you take the corners. So just kind of showing here what you know, the mechanics get up to. They fuel the car, they do the tyre pressures, they check the temperature of the tyres when you come in. I actually hit a curb so hard that I made the battery pop out, so that was a good thing to find out in testing, not to do that. And as you can see here, you know, this is one of my teammates, Andy, who is getting strapped into the car, and it just kind of shows the background behind the scenes. And then here we have Andy doing the flight pass, where it looks really slow, but honestly, it's really fun. But let's go back to Oulton Park.
Hello again. Well, I have now done my first couple of, well, actually one session in the beast that is the C1. It's a beautiful day, and I have to say, Oulton Park is such an amazing track. It's so good. Like, it's got such a good flow. There's some really fast corners. There's a couple of tighter chicanes and a tighter hairpin, but overall, it is glorious. If you can get down here for even an experience or a track day, then do come along because it is mega. So, what is the point of today? Well, we are racing in the Snetterton 6.5 hour race, which is a Citroen C1 only race, which will be my first only Citroen only race. I've only done multi-class racing before, so it would be proper bumper to bumper stuff, which would be really good. And so this is the first time that we're all together as a team. So when we say grassroots motorsport, what does that actually mean? Well, it means properly entry-level motorsport. So my two friends, Andy and Andy, easy to remember, own the Citroen C1 race car, and they enter a few races in it, and the Snetterton one is 2 3.25 hour races, so ideally you need 3 drivers. So they asked me if I wanted to do it, and obviously I said yes. And so I'm doing that with them. So this literally means my tripod of my camera is on top of one of their cars with the trailer on, which the car gets towed behind. We've got a couple of very nice friends who are mechanics who come along to help out and, you know, keep the car ticking over, check tyre pressures, repair anything that we damage. so that we can go racing. You know, we don't even have a pit garage, so if it was raining today, we would be getting wet. At Snetterton, we've got a pit garage, which is good. But that's it. You know, the expense of it is the entry fees, the tyres, and the fuel for the car once the car is bought. You know, and your race kit and things like that. But it is legitimately a cheap way of going racing if you can club together. Maybe 2 or 3 of you buy a car, or you know, that sort of thing. It makes it a lot cheaper than doing a arrive and drive. You know, if there's a team who've got a car that they want you to come and race, you have to pay a lot more, because you need to pay for their time then. You need to pay for their equipment, you need to pay for the transportation of everything. So it becomes a lot more expensive. You know, it could be double, triple, quadruple the amount of money that you'd spend just by running in your friend's car. Now, damage is obviously always the elephant in the room when it comes to motorsport. But again, the Citroen C1 is a cheap car to mend. You know, it's, unless you fully, you know, hit a concrete wall and bend chassis and things like that, you know, parts and panels and things like that are cheap, which helps massively. So today we are kind of going out, I'm getting used to the car again. I haven't driven one since November 2019. We're now in June 2021, so, you know, a year and a half since I last drove one. So I'm getting used to the car. We're making sure that the seat's in the right position, the belts are the right length, kind of what position we're going to run the seat in for each of us. But also practice pit stops, because unlike a lot of entry-level motorsport, there's no mandatory time that you have to spend in the pit lane or the pit stop. So you have to, you know, however long it takes you is how long it takes. So that's fuel, getting a driver in, putting the next driver's belts on, tightening up wheel nuts, checking tyre pressures and things like that. So it's just kind of like a shakedown, getting everything dialed in. But really, the great thing is about this level of motorsport is it's just for the fun. It's like a way to hang out with your mates, especially when we get to the race weekend. You know, we all get mad into the strategy and when we should pit and who should run first and all of that sort of thing. So it's really good fun, and if you can do it, then do it. Oh, sounds like they've gone back out again. And that's kind of what I'm trying to achieve with this YouTube channel, is to kind of showcase this kind of entry-level motorsport, and hopefully I'm doing an okay job. But what we'll do is we'll have a look at some laps. I'm going to put the GoPro in the car so we can see what it's actually like getting overtaken by lots of McLarens and BMWs and things. I actually overtook a Lotus Exige earlier, so I'll take that. But now I've got up to speed, we've got lunch, we'll go through the data and things like that, and then we'll head back out this afternoon and kind of show an onboard lap, see how it's going. Yeah, stick with it, and I'll see you out on track.
Okay, so crossing the start-finish line on my fastest lap of the day. First corner here at Oulton Park is mega. Just a breeze on the brake, get it turned in, pray that you've got the line right and don't run too wide over the very noisy and aggressive exit curbs down the hill towards Cascades. Difficult corner, this one. You know, it's downhill, so it's difficult to brake. You want to make sure you get a good exit, because there's a long straight all the way off the back of here. So on the dash you can see that I'm 0.19 or 0.2 of a second up on this lap, having just done my fastest lap of the race so far. Now this left was flat out, and it took us quite a while to realise that, but once you do it once you're like, oh yeah, this is fine. It's big braking now down into second, but you can really throw it in here because of the banking of the hairpin. Again, apologies for the terrible visuals, but hopefully you can see enough. Up into third, into probably the corner I found the hardest, this left chicane. So braking whilst turning, down into second, get back on the power as soon as you can through that right, because again you've got to accelerate all the way up over this hill, and the whole time you're just looking in the rearview mirrors going, please nothing come, because I don't want to have to lift off and ruin my lap. So car goes through there. Coming down into the chicane again, I actually like this, it gets a bit squirrely on the brakes sometimes into there. Through the left-hander, now you're back flat on the power, it's flat through this right, and again you just have to pray you get the line right so you don't run too right, because this is loud, listen. So compared to the rest of the very quiet audio, that was very loud. Again, you need to get a good exit. That 3 Series was driven very well, as you see, it was fast. Didn't know much about it overtaking. Now Druid, ballsy corner, just a breeze on the brake really, get it turned in, and because the car's not really fast you actually want to kind of hug the inside a little bit. not go any extra distance, and down towards Lodge, the last corner. Again, looking in my mirrors, being like, please don't let there be something that I need to get out of the way of, because I'm on a good lap. Brake, you can't actually see the exit because it drops off so much. You turn in, hope you get the line right, mash the throttle, and then back up over the hill to do it. I think it was a 2:24.7 was my fastest lap time. But so much fun trying to extract the most out of the C1, I have to say.
Okay, so let's have a quick look at the beast that we've been driving. So here it is, Citroen C1 to the Citroen C1 Club Racing specs. So we'll have a look at some of the changes. As you can see, it is pretty much standard on the outside. Nankang control tyres, no kind of bodywork changes, etc, etc. So the outside's pretty boring, to be honest, but let's have a look inside, and immediately you'll see very stripped out, so all kind of sound deadening and everything out the sides, all the carpets removed, passenger seats, rear seats are all gone, obviously roll cage for safety, but kind of as light as you can possibly go, really. That's a plate if you need to add any weight. It's also where a V-box would get mounted. So race seat with 6-point harness, obviously for safety. Racing steering wheel, still got a key to start it. We've got an AIM lap timer you see on the dashboard there, and so that gives you your lap times as you're going around, and also whilst you're going around it will give you whether you're faster or slower, which is good, but sometimes it's like it might be better not to know. You push pretty hard when you know that you're up or you're down, and you just drive to it, unfortunately. So it's got master cut-off switch down at the bottom, and also one of the most important things, fire extinguisher. So obviously if you get into the unfortunate situation of being in fire, pull that, jump out. Obviously we all wear fireproof overalls and fireproof underwear, helmets, balaclavas, all of that sort of stuff. But as you can see, it's pretty standard. There is a standard ECU, so you have to send off the kind of the electronic control unit to the championship organisers, who then flash the ECU and make sure that it is to their specification and there is nothing, going on that would give you an advantage. But that is it. She's a beautiful car, and I have to say, as hopefully you've seen in the onboards, it's a really great car to drive on the limit. If you're like me and not that experienced, it's not intimidating, but it's still pretty ballsy. It's to go flat through the left kink here before the shell hairpin is quite scary, and it took me 2 sessions to take that flat. So it's not like it's dead simple and really simple to drive and like, oh yeah, you just drive around in a C1. It's still pretty difficult. So yeah, that's the car we've been driving, yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed it. So that is a wrap for the day, and what a day it's been. Lovely day in the sunshine. Just walking back over to where the car is, over there, get loaded up on the trailer. As I said, Grassroots Motorsport. So basically we're all 3 of us are within kind of 6-7 tenths of each other, which is great. I'm much more comfortable in the car now than I was before, so a lot more confident kind of going into the race in, it's 3 weeks time or 2.5 weeks time, which is awesome. But yes, that is it from a beautiful sunny Oulton Park. But please remember, if you like the content about Grassroots Motorsport and entry-level motorsport, that sort of thing, please do subscribe to the channel. Drop me a like as well if you so wish. But hopefully you've enjoyed it, but I'll see you next time. Bye bye.